Okay, what's up, everyone? Swinging Bull here with PB Alerts, and welcome to this earnings stream for ticker symbol BB, which is BlackBerry. And just wanted to go over a couple things here. SPY slightly green on the day. They had a very good opening move. Then they sold off this afternoon, and now they're retracing back up. So not bad there on SPY, sitting a little bit flat for the day. And let's get to BlackBerry. So we all know BlackBerry very well. They're actually located in Canada, but it's the cell phone company. It's been around for a while. They got listed on the exchanges in 1997, so they've been listed for quite a while. Let me just go over a couple things here. I want to see what the expected move on BlackBerry is. So let me look on Thinkorswim real quick, and we'll do expected move for Friday. And it's not much. It's only like 50 cents. So we'll see what happens. They're trading at $2.80 right now. They closed at 280, trading at 281 in after hours. So let's take a look at a couple of things here. And I believe I thought it was 4:05 p.m. Eastern that they were releasing earnings, but it looks like it's 5:05 p.m. Eastern. So we might not be able to see any of the price action because I don't know if I'm going to stream here for a whole hour, but we can at least talk about some things and I can show everyone some trades that I did in our Discord. But Wednesday, April 3rd, which is today, 5:05 p.m. Eastern. Usually they're at 4:05, but they're saying 5:05 on this one. Forecast EPS negative 0.05. Forecast revenue 836 million. So that's what we got on BlackBerry for the forecast. Got 4 analyst rating of a hold. Just looking at some of their EPS numbers now. It looks like they always beat the forecast EPS, but their EPS is always negative. So they have yet to climb out of the being negative for EPS. That's dating back to December 20th of 2021. So quite a few earnings ago. Like I said, they always beat the forecast, which is good. That's why this is all green. But their EPS is still a negative number. So I'd like to see them crawl out of the hole on that eventually. We'll see what happens. As far as what the price of BlackBerry was one day after earnings for the previous earnings, the most recent one, December 19th, they were trading at $4.10 back then. And the day after they announced earnings, they were down over 12% the next day. So pretty red the next day on the most recent earnings. And then the earnings before that, kind of flat, a little bit red, negative 1.05%. And June 28th earnings, they were nice and green the next day, almost 7%. And the earnings before that, 14% up. So, but two back-to-back earnings in a row, they've had, one was a pretty negative reaction, and the one before that, they were basically flat. So we'll see what they can do for this earnings release. And let me just go back here. I just want to make sure this isn't a typo because sometimes earnings whispers, the time is wrong. So we'll see here in about 1 minute if it is in fact 4:05 Eastern and this is a typo, or if we're just going to have to wait another hour and then see what BlackBerry does at that time. We go back to the candlesticks here. Really not much movement on BlackBerry. You can see it kind of was barcoding today on the 1 minute. So obviously algos of some sort had their hands on it. 1 minute chart here, basically just flat. Had 8.41 million volume today. Average volume over the past 3 months, 9.63 million. So the volume today wasn't even above their average. So not really a lot of volume on this. So, kind of not really a popular stock anymore. I remember this stock being kind of like a meme stock back in the AMC squeeze days and the GameStop squeeze days, or after GameStop squeeze and AMC squeeze. BlackBerry kind of was on the radar with Wall Street bets and things like that. And I even think David Portnoy was trying to, he was buying into it and trying to see if we could get a squeeze out of it. But not too sure any of that really worked out. Looking at the weekly chart, they've just been downhill since 2021. They were trading around 12 bucks, a little over 10 bucks, but basically just a downhill descent from there for the past almost 3 years, right? So not good for long-term holders on BlackBerry, obviously. Their forecast PE ratio says 2003. That's just an astronomically high PE ratio forecast. So not sure if that's a typo from Webull. We'll have to verify all this maybe on FinViz or something. But EPS negative 0.97. They don't pay any dividend. Looking at some of BlackBerry's financials, quarter over quarter for the past 5 quarters, they have yet to break over into the profit area. So negative net income 5 quarters in a row. Looking at the annual picture, 2023 was a lot worse than 2022. 2022 for the year, slightly green for the net income, 0.01 billion. So, do the math on that. Not very much. The year before that, they lost over $1 billion. But 2022, they tried to recover, and then last year they just couldn't do it, and it actually got a lot worse for them. Balance sheet debt to asset ratio only 48%, so kind of low debt to asset from 100%. But again, they're just having trouble pulling a profit, and it's not really getting better, kind of getting worse, especially the numbers that came in last year. Let me go back to the candlesticks real quick just to see if we do have anything. Okay, we're getting a little volatility here. Let me pull up my other screen and see if we actually have anything on BlackBerry. Assuming they did release at 4:05, but I don't think they did. I think this is going to be 5:05 p.m. Eastern. So unfortunately, I'll probably wrap the stream up here in a little bit. But we'll just have to go back to the charts at 5:05 when they actually report. But let me just see if I have anything on my other screen that's worth mentioning. Okay. Let's see here. Just kind of scrolling down on my other screen. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything here. So, which means the time that they report is 5:05 p.m. Eastern is what I'm thinking. So, we can still go over some stuff. Let me just take a look at my trading view real quick. And, if we do get a positive reaction to BlackBerry earnings data at 5:05 p.m. Eastern, look for an upside move. See if you can get through this resistance that was resistance earlier in March. This is the 1-hour chart. So near-term targets, basically break over 3 with some momentum. And then we got this huge sell-off here from back in January that it could potentially retrace, and that take us up to about $3.50. So just some kind of targets, short-term targets that, if we get a positive reaction, possibly it can start trending in that direction. Downside targets, there's, obviously we got this previous low here in the 240s. So it's like 40 cents off from current price. So obviously, if we get a negative reaction to their earnings data, for the bulls, we'd look for that level to hold, and then kind of go from there. Now, looking at the, let me just go to this weekly chart here. Yeah, I don't think they've ever, let me go to the monthly chart. Okay, so they have been low before, and this is, 24 years ago. This is back in 2000. Here's 2001, 2002. So like the early 2000s, they were in the $1 to $2 range. But it looks like the lowest that they've ever been is $1.14. So, I know it's, over 20 years ago with these levels, but, with the looks of how this chart is, if we get a negative reaction and we end up test in the 240s and lose that, very good chance that this thing could end up under $2, coming back to these levels from over 20 years ago. Okay, that's kind of what I would be looking for on the upside and the downside. So we kind of just got to wait until 5:05 p.m. Eastern for them to actually release the data. Like I say, I'm probably not going to stick around for a whole hour here. Maybe I'll just share some trades that we did in our Discord group. I basically specialize in spreads for our group. So, I do debit spreads, which is obviously we're buying them. But I also do a lot of credit spreads, and that's where we're selling them, collecting credit. And then do a lot of condors and stuff like that. So let me just kind of show everyone some of the recent trades that we did, so y'all can kind of get an idea of what we do over here in the group. I'm going to go to the spread channel first. So I kind of just pulled this over so everyone can see it. So these are the last 3 spreads I've done. I've done about, so far this year, we're just broke into April, so solid 3 months. I've probably done about 20 or 25 spreads so far this year, and I've lost 3 of them. So got a pretty good win rate on the spreads. And this was one from last week. We had a spread going on a firm and ended up bagging 40% on that. Took my money and ran. We know how volatile a firm can be here and there. And then had 2 back-to-back wins last week. Did another spread on Beyond. Was able to get 50% on that one. And my most recent one I opened up yesterday during one of my live streams with our group over here in the Discord. Every Tuesday I trade spreads live with everybody, and so they can actually see how I'm determining the underlying, determining the strike prices, and determining my expiration dates and what amount of credit that I'm targeting and stuff like that. So I do that live with everyone every week. But this is the one I opened up yesterday. Tesla put credit spread. I sold to open. That's what STO means, sell to open. I sold to open a 157.50 put for April 19th. So basically just 16 days from now, right? It's not like a long hold, like a couple months or anything like that. It's just like a couple week trade here. So I sold the 157.50 put, and I simultaneously bought to open the 155 put, same expiration. Was able to get almost $60 for each one, and opened up a handful of them. And earlier today, we already had some pretty good green on the table. I'm shooting for at least 50% on this one. So that's kind of what I do over here in the group. Is I do a lot of spreads. Also do a lot of wheel trades. So you kind of scroll up here. Basically, we have a new coaches program. So I'm the coach of the protective passive strategy is what I call it. And basically what we're doing in this corner here with the trades we're doing here is we're basically long stock and short call. All right. And that's the whole protective part. So basically the same thing as a buy right strategy, where we're reducing our risk. We're kind of hedging our long shares by selling some calls. We are capping our upside a little bit, but we always sell the calls way above our cost basis. So even if our shares do get called away, we have a pretty fat profit sitting on the table there. But it's a neat strategy because once we go long on a stock, if it does move against us a little bit, that's what those calls that we're selling will help protect some of the downside and generate some income while we're waiting for the stock to start trending in our direction or continue trending in our direction. Okay, so that's kind of what I do over here. It's kind of like protective passive trading. That's basically what I do. I've been doing it for years. And just to sum it up, it's basically I'm selling options. More, rather than buying options. We all know how, risky buying options can be. And I started selling options years and years ago. And by far, out of all the strategies I've traded over the last 8 years, selling options has been the most consistent and profitable over the course of a calendar year. So that's what I do. My name's the Swinging Bull in our group. My real name is Ben or Benjamin. We do have another coach who specializes in swing trading equities. That's literally all he does. He's a swing trader of equities. He does dabble in options here and there, but his name is Mr. SLP or Lee. Lee's his real name, and he's our swing trading coach. And he's been trading for like I think over 1 or 2 decades or something like that. But he specializes in swing trading equity. So we have a bunch of members that like following him. And then we have another coach is his name's Ethan. All he does is day trade options. All he does is day trade options, live trades with our members every single day almost. And that's what he specializes in. Is he basically day trade options, and he does that every day, and the members love it. They're making some good money. And let me just kind of scroll up here to the chat. Sorry about that. Just getting some background noise. So his name is Ethan, and he does all day trading. Now we do have a fourth coach, and his name is Jay. And Jay he's probably the best technical analysis trader I've probably ever met in my life. And he has his own coach's corner, and all of our members, they can pick and choose which coach they want to be with. And then, after a month or two, if they want to switch coaches, they can do that. But Jay, just a expert in technical analysis. So he has a ton of following, and he streams every single week, basically breaking down the candlesticks and the charts and the patterns and anything technical analysis related. He deep dives real good in there. So kind of giving you guys a little preview of what we do over here in our group. And we do have a free section, and we live trade with them every single week and every day as well. So a little bit of something for everyone. So if anyone's interested in coming to hang out with us and to join our group, there's a link in the description where you can sign up for free. And then come hang out with us. Like I said, we're trading every single day, every week, live streaming, tons of education, and we don't put up with no drama. So if there's any members being disrespectful to another member or stuff like that, it's nipped in the butt, and that they're basically kicked out of the group. So got someone on Twitter here. Was BlackBerry and options play on earnings? I personally didn't do it. I didn't take a earnings play on BlackBerry. I know there were some members in our group that have been building a position while it's down here at the lows. I think they're building in slowly and kind of DCAing into it, right? But I personally don't have any bias. I mean, I guess if I did have a bias, I really don't like the company. I'm sorry to the bulls out there, but their financials just aren't there. The EPS negative, their net income, they've been, this is the annual view. And the last time that they had positive net income was very tiny bit in 2022. I'm not even going to count that. But basically 2019 was the last time they had extra money at the end of the quarter for net income. So for me personally, I just, I think this is probably over time just going to continue heading down. And eventually possibly they might have to do a reverse split or something. But I'm not saying that it can't go up. They just need to get involved in some other things to generate some more revenue. And maybe they've been working on that, and we'll hear details from the CEO today about their future plans and forward guidance and stuff like that. So, I hate to say that I'm bearish, but just based off their fundamentals and financials, I probably personally would never hold this like in any of my long-term accounts, like my Vanguard account or anything like that. That this stock wouldn't be going in there. But they have had a history of having some really volatile pumps, like back here. Now this is the monthly chart, so I mean, just take a look at what happened January 29, 2021. They were trading at $6.20 and ended up going all the way up to over $28. So they do have the capability of making some monster moves to the upside, but they also have the same capability of making some big moves to the downside too. But so, all hope's not lost with them. We need to see what their earnings data is going to be. And again, for anyone just joining the stream, I thought they were reporting at 4:05 p.m. Eastern, but it turns out it's not till 5:05 p.m. Eastern. So it's exactly 4:20 p.m. Eastern right now. So, got another 45 minutes before we even get the data. But, we'll see. For any of the bulls out there, I'm definitely rooting for you. Just moving forward, especially anyone that may be red on a BlackBerry position, moving forward, before you start building positions and, committing, a lot of capital to any of these stocks, you got to be checking out the income statement and the balance sheet. We need to know what their debt to asset ratios are to make sure they're not over leveraged, which basically means they have not enough assets to cover liabilities. So we call that DOL, degree of leverage. And, we got to be checking all this stuff out, y'all, before, we can't be just taking someone's advice on Facebook or Reddit and just like going balls deep into these plays without doing, our research. Okay. And again, that's, checking the income statement, checking the balance sheet. How many hard assets do they have? What's their long-term debt? It seems like a lot, but once you get into a habit of checking these things, it just comes second nature. You'll be able to pull a stock up and check these things within a couple of minutes, and you'll have more confidence as to what exactly you're going to be doing with that stock. Is it going to be maybe just a shorter swing based on technical analysis, or is it going to be a longer term hold because they have strong fundamentals and financials, and maybe they pay a dividend or something? So we got to take all this into account, and that'll help us have a clearer mind as far as what exactly we're going to be doing with this and how long we're going to be holding it, and what is our predetermined risk going to be before we even enter the trade. And as long as we can figure that kind of stuff out, trading gets a lot easier. Okay. And in my coach's program on the Discord, I get new members all the time that join my group, and they're like, hey, would you mind taking a look at my portfolio, and just got all these positions I've been holding forever and not sure what to do and this and that. And unfortunately, a lot of times the newer members who have never been a part of our group before, a lot of times it's not good news. A lot of those positions are probably dead in the water, and it's because they're heavily invested in therapeutic companies or pharmaceutical companies or biotechnology companies. Those three kind of types of companies are probably the highest risk ever out of anything. Okay, because these companies are depending on FDA approvals or disapprovals, application acceptance or rejections, phase 1, phase 2 trial results, phase 3 trial results, that kind of stuff. There's so many variables, and if they get bad data on any one of those things I just mentioned, we're talking about a 50% drop overnight on the share price with these companies. So, moving forward, we got to deep dive into the income statements and the balance sheets and the fundamentals to determine, is this something worth holding for a long time, or am I just playing off the chart? Basically a technical analysis cash grab due to supply and demand. That there's a lot of different ways you can trade, but you have to have your plan set up in the beginning, or you're gonna be kicking yourself in the butt. But yeah, Eddie Solomon on Twitter, BBC 350 after earnings possibly. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at one of my trading view charts here, and 350 is definitely one of the levels I was looking at here. And this was the sell-off that happened in January, where they basically went from $3.50 and all the way down to well into the $2 range here to the 280s. And we basically, before that happened, That's basically right where the a nice level is. You can just clearly see on the chart. And this was definitely a level of interest. Ended up being resistance right here, and got rejected super hard. So yeah, if the earnings are good and the forward guidance is good, I mean, the best case scenario is they beat EPS, they beat revenue, and then they give a good forward guidance. Maybe they adjust the fiscal year 2024 upwards or something like that. And that is definitely going to be the momentum needed. First stop is going to be right around 320. So we can get above this level here. That was very clear resistance, and this is just technical analysis based here. So we, with enough momentum, it's already at 285. So with enough momentum, get through that 320, and just as hard as it sold off with this huge red candle over here, I mean, it could easily go back up that fast because that was a huge sell-off. So basically, levels to the upside for the BB Bulls, with some momentum and some positive reaction to their earnings data, bust through that 320, and I definitely think 350 is not going to be that hard to maybe get there as long as it keeps trending and making higher lows, right? So that's kind of my opinion on BlackBerry, and talked about the Discord a little bit. So yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to come join us, free link in the description. Doesn't cost you anything to sign up. I'm not here to sell you anything. But hey, if I can get as many people as I can into our group where we have great education and we don't put up with no drama, no muss, no fuss, we're all there to make money. We treat it like a business, the way as it should be treated, and that's what we're all about. We got 4 different coaches: a technical analysis coach, an equity swing trading coach, an option day trading coach, and then I of course handle all the advanced option strategies, the multi-legs, and all that stuff. But anyway, it's almost 4:30. Again, for anyone just arriving to the stream, I thought they were announcing at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. That's why I had this stream scheduled at 4 o'clock. It turns out it's not till 5:05 p.m. Eastern. And I think that has something to do with the fact that they're located in Canada. I think maybe that has something to do with it, because more times than not, the earnings are announced at either 4:05 Eastern or 4:15 Eastern. Not too often we get a 5:05 deal, but anyways, got another 40 minutes before that happens. But I'm gonna go ahead and get off the stream. We got over 257 people watching the stream now. I appreciate y'all coming to hang out. I do this every Wednesday or Thursday. I pick out a ticker or two. This week was just kind of light. Yesterday was Dave & Buster's. That was probably the more exciting one. BlackBerry, I figured since it used to be kind of meme-ish, maybe we had a lot of interest in it. And maybe we do. There's probably still some BB Bulls out there. But, again, they're not going to report till 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern. But I do this every Wednesday or Thursday. Just depends what companies are reporting what day. But on that note, I appreciate everyone hanging out. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night. And yeah, if you want to come hang out and join the group for free, link in the description. And I'll see everybody in the next stream. Cheers.